If you're anxious for to shine in the high aesthetic line as a man of culture rare, you must get up all the germs of the transcendental terms and...
Hello again, and welcome to the Fortress of Solitude for the week of August, whatever this is. It's been 3 weeks since we started that cliffhanger, since I was going to reveal what those mysterious items were I found in my ductwork. And finally the time has come for the unveiling. After one more interruption. We've received some viewer mail, interestingly enough, from little Brian M. of Ontario, Canada. Brian, aged 40, wrote in to tell us about the whereabouts and, kind of a update on the whereabouts and circumstances of Arn Saba, who's, as you remember, we detailed in the previous episode of The Fortress of Solitude, Arn Saba being the creator and writer for Neil the Horse. It seems that Arn Saba, as we noted, had a sex change operation and is now living as Catherine Collins. One last scene, Miss Collins was arrested by the police in 2003 for dealing large amounts of magic mushrooms and also soft drugs, marijuana and the like. And one last we heard was possibly in prison or awaiting trial. This information is all a few years old, of course, but I think we can probably safely say that it may have been better for artists and for perhaps Miss Collins' own career if she had remained in the independent comic book industry. Although, granted, she was probably making a lot more money. Right, now it's the time for the unveiling. And I think it would not be inappropriate to have a drum roll. The items that I discovered in my ductwork when it was cleaned, that had obviously not been cleaned in a long time, were these. That's right, friends. These are copies of the National Examiner. One from February the 3rd of 1987, and one from May 19th of 1987. And yes, you may consider that a bit of a letdown, something of a anticlimax, but let's have a look at the contents and consider this in its historical context. This is a glimpse into a world where the golden age stars of the 1950s and even 40s are still alive. People like Cary are on the cover, Zsa Zsa Gabor, and also a world where the current celebrities, Bruce Willis and Tom Cruise, Sybil Shepherd, people like that, who are still around making movies and perhaps doing better now than they were then, are also featured. Also interesting to see what one of the biggest fears, according to a poll conducted by National Examiner, which is hardly an unimpeachable news source, was that the fear that many women had that their husbands might be bisexual, and bisexuals being presented as though it was some kind of strange new disease. And also mentions of these crazy people who are wearing armor and going to Ren fairs. There's also a kind of hilarious article about pagans, who of course it lumps in with witches and Satanists, as this strange new fringe culture that's making itself known in places like California. When, nowadays you cannot throw a brick on MySpace without hitting 3 witches. And of course, last but not least, these things make me feel really old, because I was just about to start high school when these came out, and wow, the world has changed. Look at this, the coolest slacks in town. Now, before I say goodnight for the evening, there's just 2 points I'd like to raise. First of all, the blinking light has been repaired, the blinking light of Solitude. Secondly, you may notice the video quality in this video is somewhat reduced as compared to episodes prior to this one. This is because I'm having trouble with my equipment here, my digital recording equipment, and as such there's been some kind of loss of resolution. But of course most of my equipment predates the advent of high fidelity, so any sound or quality loss that may result, I hope you will forgive. And that's all for this week from Fortress of Solitude. Stay fortified, folks.
You must lie upon the daisies and discuss in novel phrases of your complicated state of mind. The meaning doesn't matter if it's only idle chatter of a transcendental kind. And everyone will say, as you walk your mystic way,